All right, welcome back. Episode 230 of Chaotically Intolerant. The first one of 2026. This will release Thursday, January 1st. Crazy that we're in 2026. I remember when guys would like sign contracts. They're like, this guy signed a 12-year deal that's through 2026. And I was like, that's not going to be a thing. That's not going to happen. That's just not real. That's just doesn't exist. The baseball won't exist in 2026. What are you talking about? But it's here.
And
Before
not
we get in,
2027, but yeah, okay.
yeah, 2027 too. I mean, that's not going to happen. 2027 is definitely not coming here. Um, Anyways, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. We're going to get into some NFL today. We got a big past weekend and big upcoming weekend. So again, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Go check out Draft America. Let's go. All right. So let's start with the Christmas Day games in the NFL. Kind of stinkers, I guess. Really not. I didn't even watch them. I'm gonna be honest. The juice wasn't really there for me with these. Start Cowboys, Commanders. I don't know. Commanders really stink. Josh Johnson though. Josh Johnson at least gave us a little bit of a game. I think he earned himself another team.
Yeah, Matt Ryan was up in the booth calling the game. He was in that same draft class. I made a joke about like, well, I'm up here and he's down there. Yeah, he played all right. I mean, he's a backup. He's competent. No turnovers in the game, so that was good. Kept him in it. I mean, I think he's at this point just will be lucky to get a job on a roster next year. But for Dallas, going for that rare 8-8-1 season, I mean, there's nothing sexy about this Cowboys team. I mean, I know people think, well, they could score a lot of points, but Prescott's had a good year. He's a good quarterback with an average team around him. I think that's all I took away from this. And yeah, I don't know. Didn't have much to say. These Christmas games were they were like decent games as far as like competitiveness, but it wasn't, high quality of play in any of the games. So,
Yeah. And this was the final Commanders standalone game we'll have to watch. They had 8 standalone games this year. So,
wow.
I'm pretty happy about that. I don't want to watch them anymore. They're sad. They're very
Not
sad.
this year. Yeah.
Not this year. Lions Vikings. What the fuck was this one? Max Brosmer throws for like 70 yards or 50 yards or something like that, and wins 23-10. And the Detroit Lions are done. I'm gonna say this: the Detroit Lions are not, like, as a franchise, done. I feel like people are saying that they're not going to be back. They're not going to be a team to be afraid of next year or in a couple years. Like, they're going to have to go back to completely restart. I just think that's bullshit. I'm sorry. They still have the pieces there. You're going to have to get an offensive line for Jared Goff. The defense is clearly not what it was, but you can fix that. I think those problems can be fixed. And Dan Campbell's a guy who loves coaching from behind. He's a guy who loves being the underdog. Next year, they're going to go all off season, and everyone's going to be shitting on the Lions all off season. This is a perfect Dan Campbell off season to tell his team, they think you suck. Go out and show them why you don't. So Lions aren't done by any means. I still believe in them next year and for years to come. And Minnesota just finding ways to win. Brian Flores, is he going to get a head coaching job this year?
Maybe. Yeah.
Because his defense has been insane in the last few weeks.
It's been good. Been real good. He's a good coordinator. I don't think he did a bad job in Miami. I was surprised. He was let go after that big turnaround at the end of, was that 2020?
I think there was a lot of drama in Miami. There was a lot of drama.
I think so too. And I don't know how much of that was Flores versus just an organization that's mired in mediocrity is perhaps unknown. But I think he deserves another shot. Whether he gets one, we'll see.
Yeah.
Vikings, I mean, just playing really well. The Lions may finish in last place, which at this point, last place schedule next year, maybe not the worst thing in the world. I'm just not sure Goff's the guy. I'm not. I don't think the Lions are going away. I think they have pieces there. I'm just not sure about Goff. You mentioned the O-line. It's not great. They're middle of the league in sacks allowed. Gibbs was running so well. He had 2 yards against the Steelers. He had 7 for 2. So 24 carries, 43 yards his last 2 games. And you're not going to, I don't know if they went away. I don't know if he hit a wall. I don't know what happened. They ran for 2.3 yards a carry. And just the turnovers, they looked like they're done with this season.
Yeah.
They look like they're done with the season, whether it was that deflating loss to Pittsburgh that took them out of it. And we saw that with a few teams this week that were, whether they were eliminated from contention or eliminated from the division, like the Rams, a lackluster effort by them. Maybe mentally these teams just saying to themselves, it's been a long season. Season goes longer now. Why waste the energy? But I think the Lions will be
Yeah.
okay. But losing Ben Johnson hurts. I think the Vikings have some momentum to carry into next year. They just need to know if they've got their quarterback in McCarthy.
Yeah. The Rams obviously they have more to play for, but maybe they're like, all right, well, we can't really do much more
Right.
at this point in the year,
Seeding.
is
Yeah.
what it is. See, obviously seeding wise, but I feel like the NFL is getting more where obviously home field advantage matters, but if you're a wild card team, the seeding in the wild card just isn't really going to matter all that much. Now, obviously, you can go and play the NFC South, but I mean, the Panthers have beaten some good teams. The Panthers beat the Rams,
Right.
so I think for the Rams and for a lot of teams, seeding in the wild card just doesn't matter all that much to them. Like you're going to have to beat good teams in the playoffs,
Yeah.
anyways. That's it. You're going to have to beat good football teams in the playoffs. Doesn't matter who you play. So, I think they see more the value of just kind of relaxing and maybe going into the postseason a little more relaxed than being stressed. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, if you got to get in, you got to win your games, but it's a case by case basis. Um, Broncos Chiefs. Broncos tough loss against Jacksonville last week. Played this real tight one against Kansas City, possibly in Travis Kelce's final game as a Kansas City Chief. He's taking I think maybe we talked about this last week, but he's taking a little bit of a book or a little bit of a page out of the book of Taylor Swift, saying saying he thinks the Chiefs are going to be fine next year.
Yeah.
Not us. The Chiefs are going to be fine next year. So most likely he'll be done. What here's a good question. If he wasn't done, but he didn't want to be in Kansas City, where do we think he would go? Because I've heard someone maybe say Philly, go play in Philly. I could see him going to play Jacksonville. Players just look old when they play in Jacksonville. That's like their thing. They go and get a lot of like older, washed up guys, or they overpay for a guy who's really not that good. I could maybe see Kelce in Jacksonville. Do we think he stays in the AFC? Do we think he goes to the NFC? What are we thinking? If he
He's
plays.
done, but if he plays, I mean, he could take a page out of Tony Gonzalez's playbook, go to Atlanta with Kyle Pitts hitting free agency. I don't know if he'd want to go somewhere where he'd be like in a big market, or he'd want to go like to Green Bay, where small town, big fish, small pond. I mean, any team that could use a tight end at this point is not going to turn away Kelce despite his age. Used to be like you'd think, oh my God, they're just going to New England. I don't see him staying in the division. I think he'd be loyal enough to the Chiefs in that regard. I could see him going to the NFC. Yeah, Philly, I don't know. I get Dallas Goddard. I'm not sure he'd go there, but and he'd have to deal with the whole Kelsey thing. But I think he's done. I think it's a moot point.
And the Broncos, you just don't know. You don't know what this team is capable of. Because they play a game like this where they beat the Chiefs 20-13. Bo Nix, by the way, 4th Broncos quarterback ever to win at Arrowhead in December. That sounds like an ESPN stat, but playing at Arrowhead in December is very tough.
Yeah, 4th Broncos quarterback to win at Arrowhead in December. Huh?
Ever. Peyton, Elway, Bo Nix, and there was one other one.
Was it like
it's kind of a no-namer?
Tommy Maddox or Craig Morton or Bubby Brister? I don't know. I'd have to look.
Not Bubby Brister.
Yeah, but good for Denver. We just say this all the time. Division road wins, they're hard to come by. Doesn't matter, bad team or not. Second time playing the Chiefs this year. Yeah, the Chiefs are a bad football team now, but they played inspired. Short week, both teams, short week. It's not. I don't think we read too much into it. I think it was another hey, Broncos had got pushed a little bit, had their backs against the wall a bit, responded, needed a bounce back, got humbled a little bit by Jacksonville the week before. I think they'll be okay. Now they know going forward that they probably got the 1 seed locked up because they're going to play the Chargers backups next week. So yeah, it's just more of the same for Denver. So whatever you think about them, I don't know that would change one way or the other with this game. close late win. Yeah, not a great team, but again, division road game. It's the first time they've swept the Chiefs since pre-Mahomes, at least. So, that's
Peyton.
something. Yeah, but
I think it's Peyton.
2014 maybe. It wasn't 15. I know that, but yeah. But point being, it's been a long time, and I think the Broncos are still kind of continued to be who they are. Like they have this identity, which is not every team can say that.
Yeah. To the Saturday games, Texans, Chargers. Cameron Dicker, one of the most accurate kickers in the league. Apparently, he's one of the most accurate in NFL history. This is like another textbook example of charging.
Yeah.
This is a game they had to have. You want to go into Week 18 with a chance to win the division against the division leader, so that would be for the AFC West. And you charger, you leave 4 points on the board, missed extra point, missed field goal, and I mean again, like Houston, the first 2 drives of the game, offense looked back. They looked like they were elite again, and it was like, wow, what are we gonna do about this Texans team? Your defense is the number 1 in the league. And now the offense is starting to find their stride in Week 17. And then they shut down, but the Chargers couldn't do anything.
Right.
I mean, it's also fitting that they were wearing the throwback uniforms for this as well.
Yeah, I think for Houston, if they don't win, it's going to be because of Stroud. I think I liked where they were going with Davis Mills. Defense continues to be good. Herbert's Chargers giving up the 4th most sacks in all of football. We know the line's been a problem. We know playmakers. They just don't have enough playmakers. I don't think you can put it all on. First of all, Dicker, I think he gets one. He gets a mulligan. He's been great. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
You left 4 points on the field, but Gadsden bobbles a ball, turns into an interception at the goal line right there. That's at least, right? I mean, at least
Johnston's tripped up on that long 60-yarder, like a shoestring tackle, basically.
Right, and then you had the
interception right after. Herbert threw the pick right after that 60-yard bomb.
Yeah, and then the questionable holding call at the end. I mean, I think the Chargers have overachieved to this point. I think Harbaugh's done a great job. They're going to end up with 11 wins, 6 at home where they have no home field advantage. I just don't see them being a team that can go on the road in the postseason, especially cold weather. I mean, yeah, even if they go to Jacksonville or Houston, they're just up against more physical teams with more playmakers. I think this was charging. I think the Chargers, that's still who they are. I don't think there's this team in there. I think if they had a couple of those big playmakers, if they had the LaDainian Tomlinson or Antonio Gates, if they had even a big physical receiver like they had Vincent Jackson back in the day, but they're not for real. And Houston just keeps finding a way. I mean, you want to believe more and more every week in this Texans team. And if they don't win the division, I still think the way they're built, they're equipped to go on the road with that defense. Again, if they don't win, it's going to be because CJ Stroud either doesn't make enough plays or doesn't take care of the football.
Yeah. To the Ravens and Packers Saturday night. Mike, the NFL needed to make sure this happened. They needed to make sure we had a winner-take-all game for the AFC North. No, Tyler Huntley and Malik Willis. Malik Willis is going to be paid this offseason.
Yeah.
By someone. He will be paid. Tyler Huntley, though, I mean, this was the John Harbaugh saying, "You're mad at me for not running Derrick Henry last week. Okay, I'm going to run him all the time." And it was also Derrick Henry being pissed at John Harbaugh saying, "Why the fuck didn't you run me? I'm going to go for 220 and 2 touchdowns." I think John Harbaugh is happier if he goes for like 150 versus like 220, because 220 is like disgusting. It is disgusting.
Makes him
that
look
was
really
the seventh 200-plus yard game in the NFL. That's, I think, the most all-time now. He is number 1 for 200-plus yard games. So,
yeah.
John Harbaugh, keep fucking running the ball. Like, what? This has to prove he should touch the ball 30 times every single week for the rest of the year. Derrick Henry carries 36 times.
Yeah.
6 yards to carry, not bad, but 4 touchdowns. So that was more than I remembered. Holy shit. I think like I looked at the stat line very briefly and I was like, wow. And now I'm looking at it again. And I'm like, holy shit, that's like 1930s football right there.
It was great. I mean, obviously with Huntley in there, it almost forced that. And I'm not saying they're better off with Huntley than Lamar Jackson, although I think they do it does perpetuate that, need to have Henry running the ball constantly. So I think obviously Harbaugh got the memo. It turns out it's not too late now because they still have another shot at getting into the playoffs. Um, yeah, I mean, this is what he was signed for. Cold weather, December, we're almost in January. I still think, as great as it is to have this opportunity, as a fan to see it, the defense, to me, there was nothing they did to ease concerns. I know Malik Willis is better than kind of your average backup right now. He was incredibly efficient. Again, hardly any pass rush, one sack. The one interception that the Ravens defense got was off Clayton Tune on a ball. It wasn't even his fault. It popped up into the air. The receiver missed it. It just, the Ravens, Henry was the offense and the defense in this game. And I understand that there's a thought that, like, why couldn't that be the case? It's not. The Ravens defense, especially their pass defense, is not going to get them very far in the playoffs. But yeah, I mean, they should have been doing this all year. Granted, you can't run the guy 36 times every week the whole season. I understand that. But if you're going to have games where you're monitoring his workload, make sure that he's getting those carries in the second half and not the first half and sitting on the bench in the fourth quarter. I mean, that was the maddening thing. And look, I'm not really sure from the Packers' perspective what to make. They are limping into the playoffs right now. Maybe literally. We'll see. I wouldn't anticipate Jordan Love needs to play this week, although they might want to try to keep him sharp because they have a meaningless game. They're locked into the 7 seed. Packers didn't run it. Malik Willis, 9 for 60. The rest, and Clayton Tune had a carry for no yards. Josh Jacobs, 4 carries, 3 yards. And you got to run the ball. You could talk about the receivers. I mean, Watson put up a 113. You just feel like the Micah Parsons thing deflated this team. You just feel like the Packers are kind of almost where the Ravens are at, where the defense, too many question marks. I mean, too many flaws on both the teams. But I'll just say, as a Ravens fan, glad Harbaugh figured it out. Glad they're getting a second life. Glad they have a chance. Just want to see as much Derrick Henry as possible before the season ends, whenever that is.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Shane Steichen says, and that he doesn't actually do, you pass to score, run to win. I think that's a pretty solid formula that most teams should follow. But the Colts don't do that. All right, Jags, Colts. Trevor Lawrence is also... The Jags will go as far as Trevor Lawrence goes. Phil Rivers, not bad. Not bad at all. I mean, they had a chance to win this game, and, it was 17 for 30, 147, touchdown, and a pick at the end that really sealed it. But, I mean, they definitely had a chance here. They were up 10-7 at half. No playoff team should be down to the Colts and Phillip Rivers at halftime. I'm sorry. They just shouldn't be. I mean, I know obviously Seattle, but still, it was at one point, I mean, in the third, it was tied going into the fourth. It was tied in the fourth. And then Jacksonville kicked a field goal to make it 20-17. So this game was close all the way through. Trevor Lawrence had a big interception at halftime. They could have gone up. They were down, and he threw an interception in the end zone. So, yeah, it's just still watching this. I still just don't believe in him. I'm sorry, I just don't. Seeing this on Sunday, that they gave me no reason to have faith in them, in the playoffs against a real football team. So that's all I really gotta say. Colts sad. Riley Leonard's going this weekend. This was probably Phillip Rivers' last game. Can we say that?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
But who knows? Maybe the 49ers have a bunch of injuries and they need to call on Uncle Phil again for the NFC title game or the Super Bowl. That'd be pretty awesome. But yeah, I mean, there's not really much to say here. The Colts were eliminated with the Houston win on Saturday, but they're just it's time. Like, it's time to clean house. And the question that I want to ask people who support Chris Ballard staying is, what are you going to see? What is he going to do differently compared to the past 9 years where they haven't won the division? They have now won the division under Chris Ballard. They have one playoff win, and really that was Andrew Luck. That was thanks to Andrew Luck. I don't see any sort of change. I don't see any sort of difference in how he's going to run the team and how he's going to put a roster together. I mean, he's great at drafting starters. He's great at drafting guys who can come in. You can get steals, but there's just no depth on this Colts roster. When a starter goes down, you feel like you're drowning. So it's time. It has to be time. And I'm not a fan of Shane Steichen. I think he's a really good coordinator. I think he can put a good game script together at the start. But when it comes into crunch time, when it comes down to it, he does not make the right calls. He does not know when to run the football. I mean, we've seen it time and again where he goes away from the run when they're winning. There's been games this year where they should have, just started running the ball down their throats to try and, seal the game, and they lost. So I'm just not, there's no change that's going to happen if Chris Ballard stays. You have to shake things up, and especially with the new, with Carly Ursay in, it's time. It's a new era. It's a new owner. I can't imagine you would keep the same general manager who has been mediocre. Can make all the excuses in the world for him. You can say that Andrew Luck retired. You can say XYZ about how he's drafted well, but they just haven't panned out. But at the end of the day, he is not successful as a general manager. He has not won a weak AFC South division. Like, the AFC South sucks, and he's not able to win it. So at the end of the day, results matter. And as a fan, I want to see them win, and he hasn't won. Make all the mistakes or all the excuses you want, but he hasn't won, and that's it. And I think it's time. 9 years. If you don't do your job well for 9 years, Mike, do you keep your job?
No, you don't keep it for 9 weeks, usually 9 months.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're mediocre at your job, you probably don't keep it when there's other guys out there that are doing a lot damn better than you are. So it's just sad. It's sitting in mediocrity. If she doesn't fire him this year, she's just accepting mediocrity, and that means that nothing's going to change. And this Colts team will go nowhere for, at least another decade in my eyes.
Yeah. My only note is, I think obviously just the desperation being down to Phillip Rivers, the possibility of going from 8-2 to 8-9 is pretty wild. I mean, they think they ran Taylor as much as they could probably this year. Lack of depth. No one's going far with lack of depth. And I don't think anyone's ever said about a guy, well, he's a great head coach. He's just not that good as a coordinator. It's always the other way around, right? He's a great coordinator, not a great head coach. It takes a different skill set, not just, obviously you understand the X's and O's, but there's the intangible factor that some coaches just don't have. You look at Ben Johnson, he's doing a great job. For Jacksonville, I don't know. Again, like I said, division road wins, you get down. It's like when all the pressure's on one side in these games, I don't know that it's fair to be quite as harsh. I understand what you're saying. I don't think Jacksonville's like necessarily this great team, but they're balanced. They find a way to be balanced. Obviously, Lawrence has to limit the mistakes. He had the one pick, but they came back. They got pushed. For them coming off a big win in Denver, this was a kind of a trap spot, right? Division rival, road game. You just came off a big road win. Everyone's saying how great you are. Sometimes that's when it's the hardest to win. So I think Jacksonville, again, the AFC is pretty darn open. So I still wouldn't rule out them making a Super Bowl run. I'm not overly sold on them. I wouldn't call them the favorite. But I don't think, in my mind anyway, they did enough to dispel the idea that they could make a run.
And on the Colts side as well, going from 8-2 to 8-8. Again, you can make all the excuses you want about falling. Daniel Jones got hurt. Okay, well, let's talk about Daniel Jones getting hurt. He got hurt in the Chiefs game. He got hurt in Kansas City. 3 weeks before that, the Colts turned the ball over 6 times in Pittsburgh. They turned it over 6 times in Pittsburgh, and then they had to go to overtime to beat the Falcons in London. Say what you want, it's London, but 6 turnovers, and that's when the season ended. That is when Shane Steichen lost the team. That is when, 6 turnovers is completely unacceptable. And again, that's partially obviously related to the players on the field, but there is a discipline aspect to it. And you look at a game like the Rams game where you have, I don't even remember his name now. We traded him for Sauce Gardner. This season's been horrible. Like it's taken years off my life having to watch this team. Adonai Mitchell fumbling at the goal line. Like, that's the second time in 2 seasons we've seen that happen. That is a discipline issue. That doesn't happen with a coach like Sean Payton. That's not happening with Mike Vrabel. They have other shit going on off the field, but that's not happening on the field with Mike Vrabel. I mean, it's clear he just doesn't have a hold of the team. Again, he's a great coordinator, not a great head coach in my eyes. But I could understand keeping him for another couple years. I don't think it's going to go anywhere, but Chris Ballard absolutely has to go. There's no reason that he stays. I mean, again, and you look at a team that is in your division in the Houston Texans. They won 3 straight games with Davis Mills after your quarterback and CJ Stroud goes down. You have depth right there. There is depth right there. And Anthony Richardson went down a long time ago. He broke his orbital bone a while ago. Why didn't they go out and sign a more competent backup? They rolled with Riley Leonard. It's
Fair
frustrating.
question.
It's complacency. That's what Chris Ballard, that's what this era of the Colts has been defined as, complacency and mediocrity. I mean,
Give me a couple.
Bill Polian was gone for a lot less. Chuck Pagano was gone for a lot less. He had 2 straight seasons of 8-8 after winning the division 2 years in a row. I mean, it's just not. It's not acceptable. It would never be acceptable in my eyes as an owner. Shador finds a way, man. The Steelers game planning just to stop Myles Garrett from getting the record is hilarious.
Yeah.
And it clearly did not work.
They're garbage. They are. I mean, again, and maybe this is the beauty of Mike Tomlin, or if it's, I don't know if that's the right word or if it's the complete opposite. They're the worst 9-7 or 9-8 team ever. They're not good. They haven't been good in a while. Someone, Devin Bush, I think former Steeler, he got up in Rodgers' face after the game too, and I don't know what to say other than I kind of saw this coming, and I just think it's fitting. Shador Sanders maybe building a little confidence for next year. Probably won't be playing for Stefanski. I'm just happy it played out this way for many reasons. Ravens fan, Steelers hater, just being proven that the Steelers aren't good. Browns at home this year, beating Green Bay and Pittsburgh. Something, I guess. But yeah,
I think the last Steelers quarterback to win in Cleveland was like Ben Roethlisberger. I believe they kind of have the Steelers number in Cleveland. That could be total bullshit, and I could be completely wrong about that. But I know Chris Boswell has struggled a lot in Cleveland. He's one of the most accurate long-range kickers in the game, but he's not good in Cleveland. And the only way that I could really see the Steelers winning a playoff game is if they draw the Chargers. If they somehow draw the Chargers, and they beat the Ravens on Sunday or Saturday. Is that Saturday night? Sunday night. They beat the Ravens on Saturday night, and they draw the Chargers, and the Chargers have to go into freezing, disgusting Pittsburgh. I could 100% see Mike Tomlin winning that game like 17-13 with like 2 turnovers from each team. It's just, they're not going to make it look pretty if they can even win a playoff game.
Well, if they beat a team, it's only because they found a mentally weak counterpart.
Yeah.
I mean, I can almost see Buffalo going in there and losing because they dominated them the first time, but because it's like, that's the Bills, that's the chart, that's the Steelers aren't going to ever get away with their shtick against like actual good teams.
Yeah. Good coaches sniff that out.
Yeah, they do. They do.
And I think Mike Tomlin, again, like I've said this many times, I think Mike Tomlin's a great head coach. I think he needs to be gone. The philosophy around Pittsburgh is they don't really want to pay a quarterback. I think that's kind of the big thing. They don't really believe in paying for a major quarterback. Obviously, I mean, you have an old Aaron Rodgers. Like, don't try and tell me that. And then you had Ben Roethlisberger for so long. But there needs to be a change in the way that they do things in Pittsburgh. They stick with their guys for as long as they possibly can, and they ride them until the wheels are off, and then they ride them a little longer. And there has to be a change. I'm hoping there's a change. As a Colts fan, I'd love Mike Tomlin. I would love to have Mike Tomlin, have him come in and, get a fresh start somewhere else. Because I think he could be very good. But it's just it's one of those. It's a Harbaugh situation. I mean, they were hired within a year of each other. they need a change of scenery. It's time to make a switch. Um, Not much in this one. Pats, Jets, Drake May, 4 first half touchdowns. Um, and again, like say what you want about the Jets, but throwing 4 touchdowns in the first half is difficult for any quarterback to do in the NFL.
He had 5 touchdowns and 2
Total.
incompletions. I guess this is what you're supposed to do. I've been saying, oh, division road games are hard, but Jets in December with Cook. What's his first name? Jeez,
Brady Cook.
Brady Cook. Yeah, Brady against the Pats didn't work out.
No.
Bad. Jets are just sad and pathetic. And the Pats 8-0 on the road, third time in team history. The other 2 times they either went to or won the Super Bowl. Not easy to do. I think they're the 10th team ever to do that. I mean, it's a hard accomplishment. Lions did it last year. Obviously, they didn't work out for them, but still, props to Vrabel. Then, of course, they'll be home in the first 2 rounds if they advance.
Yeah.
Not that they're bad at home, but yeah, Jets stink. Pats are good, and I think Drake May locked up the MVP with this performance. To be honest with you, coupled with Stafford's kind of whatever game on Monday.
And Patriots, their off days are being defined by some not so good things off the field. Stephon Diggs is charged with strangulation and battery of a female chef that he had hired. He does deny it, and then it just came out that Christian Barrymore is facing charge of assault and battery on a household family member.
Oh boy.
So Pats are back. This is like the sign that the Patriots are back because, I mean, this is what the Brady Pats did too. So the league is put on notice that the Patriots are back because their players are committing crimes again. They had about 5 years where they weren't committing crimes, and that's why they weren't good.
Right. Yeah. Not good though to have that distraction on your plate going into the playoffs. You know, Vrabel likes to talk about character and having the right guys. I don't know. Stephon Diggs, you see why he's bounced around quite a bit for a talented player, I'd say.
Yeah, he's got the four pregnant baby mamas currently, or all four. He had 4 women pregnant at the same time at some point.
That's wild.
And there was an old video of it was when he was playing with the Vikings, and they asked the players like, who on the team wouldn't you let let your daughter date? And
Yeah.
almost every single one said Stephon Diggs, so it makes sense. Makes sense. Saints Titans, Tyler Shuck. The Saints have shucked around and found a pretty solid quarterback, kind of out of nowhere. It feels like out of nowhere for some people. I mean, this guy might be the franchise. He might be the future of the franchise.
Yeah, he might be. He's in the running for Rookie of the Year. I like what the Saints have done here. They've won, 4 in a row? Yeah, not a lot to say. I mean, we know Tennessee's still potentially in the mix for the top pick. But and Cam Ward, yeah, I mean, Cam Ward's played a little better too, kind of gotten lost and all that. But yeah, I don't know, not much to say. I knew the Saints were better than their record. They played a lot of tight games early in the year, and I think it's playing out a little bit reminiscent of the 2010 Lions. Bad for a few years. They were 2-10. They won their last 4 games, and it carried over, and they made the postseason the next year. I'm not saying that's going to happen necessarily, but I think there's some momentum. And I think if Shuck's the guy, Kellen Moore's got his guy, then the Saints have a chance to be relevant again real soon.
Bucks, Dolphins. Well, what the hell happened to the Bucks? They kind of went on the same trajectory as the Colts, but sadly, we are going to have to watch Bucks Panthers for the NFC South. And the Dolphins, they just keep kind of. I think Mike McDaniel might know he's done. He has to be done at the end of the year. And he's just trying to hurt their draft position more. He's just trying to get them more wins. So good for him. But again, this Dolphins team, they don't quit. They're not a quitting team by any means.
I don't know. I think they ran out of gas though after that little run they had, frozen out in Pittsburgh. And then blasted by the Bengals. But you're right. I mean, they bounced back. The Bucks, yeah, if the Bucks win the division at 8-9, second time in 4 years, the NFL's got to look at reseeding. I'm tired of this. I don't care. You shouldn't even be in the playoffs with a losing record, let alone have a home game. and yet that might be what we're looking at. I give Baker credit. I think he's playing hurt. I just think the talent around him. I think Bowles needs to go. It's crazy because this could be their fifth division title in a row. It wouldn't be. It would be Bowles' fourth in a row, but it just feels like they've underwhelmed every year. I don't know. I maybe it's just maybe it's the optics of seeing how they've really limped to the finish line this year. But I don't know if he's the guy. They're not running the ball well at all lately, and they got good receivers. McMillan steps up with a big game, but you're right, can't figure it out. Quinn Ewers, a nice game, man. I don't know if he's the guy, but at least he's given himself a chance for next year,
He'll
maybe.
make a roster. He'll make the roster next year. He'll get a shot. So, I
Yeah,
mean, obviously they drafted him, but still, he'll get another shot. Um, Seahawks Panthers. Panthers just looked outclassed here.
yeah.
There was a moment where maybe they could have gotten back into it. But they just really looked outclassed. They didn't look like a number one, a real contender, I'll say. But I don't think they looked awful. I don't think they were they are not a worse team than the Bucks. They might not win next week, but they are not a worse team than the Bucks. I think they are the better team than Tampa at this very moment. But Seattle, you're setting yourself up for a big one on Saturday night. That's all I gotta say.
Smothering defensive effort for Seattle. I thought this would be maybe a trap game. You're coming off that long layoff, and you had that emotional win against the Rams. You go on the road against the team that's been feisty, and Carolina was coming off a big win with the division title in sight, and it was just smothering. I think that's the word. 10 first downs, 139 total yards, 40 net yards passing for the Panthers. I mean, we talk about Sam Darnold, and he's got to be efficient, and his numbers weren't great. 147, a touchdown, a pick, sacked 3 times. But man, if the defense plays like this, especially going into San Fran, especially looking at some of the offenses San Fran, the Rams, Chicago clearly able to put up points, and Seattle, they are the real deal. If that defense plays even close to what they played like on Sunday, they're the real deal. I don't know who the best team in the South is. I feel like Tampa Bay's more talented. Carolina's a scrappier team. Flip a coin. I just hope Carolina wins. I like Carolina, and I'm not disliking Tampa. I just don't want to see an 8-9 team win a division again. I just don't want to see it. I'm tired of it.
Yeah. Cardinals Bengals. Bengals, if you have Chase Brown, you won your league. You won the Super Bowl in your fantasy league.
Yeah.
I love having guys like that just kind of show up in the final couple weeks of the year and help somebody win their fantasy league because you know it's going to happen. And the Cardinals, I mean, Jonathan Gannon, he's got to be done. It's got to be over.
He's
Um,
out. Out.
he's he's out. And Bengals, nothing. I mean, this was a nothing burger game. Nothing really important here.
Yeah, Bengals are going to win the games that, they're going to win a few games. Obviously, with Burrow playing, he played great. I'm glad Flacco got in the game. Who knows if those will be the last passes he throws in his career.
He'll be playing this weekend.
He will be playing this weekend.
Yeah, he'll be playing against the Cleveland Browns.
Is he starting?
Yeah.
Burrow's just getting what they're just giving Flacco the nod.
Yeah. He started to begin the year. He started for the Cleveland Browns against the Cincinnati Bengals, and to end the year, he will start for the Cincinnati Bengals against the Cleveland Browns.
Wow. And no, but is he going to play the whole game, or is this kind of just like he'll get a little time and then it'll be Burrow, or is Burrow just like, hey Joe, take this one?
I think it sounds like it was just like, hey, Flacco, just take the reins. You can have this one.
Huh. Well, if that's the case, major props to Burrow, and I really hope Flacco has a great game to send off his career, this is year 18. Wow. Attached at the hip with Harbaugh when they came into the league. So, yeah, love to see it. I hope Joe has a great end, goes out a winner.
500 yards. I want 500 yards and 4 touchdowns from Joe.
He almost did that against the Bears. Had a crazy his career high, so maybe he could top that.
He needs to throw the football 40 times. He's got to throw the football 40 times.
I think Myles Garrett's going to get his record against that Bengals line. Flacco's not going to have a hard time escaping him.
Oh, that honestly, I think that would be kind of awesome. Flacco was probably a guy who would appreciate it. He would probably laugh when he gets sacked. He'd be like, "That's awesome, congrats, buddy." Yeah, he's a guy who appreciates football history, and that would be pretty awesome to be able to say, "Yeah, I was sacked for the single season sack record."
Yeah, that would be cool.
Giants Raiders. Real feisty game here. But the Raiders are far and away the worst team in football. Maybe one of the worst teams in NFL history, I'm hearing people say. There's been some
Um,
bad teams out there. I don't know if they're that bad.
the Raiders.
Yeah.
Well, we could just have a whole other segment dedicated to comparing them to the '06 team that that got them the number one pick in Jamarcus Russell. They had like Andrew Walter starting a lot of those games. They were 2-14. I mean, they beat the Pats. Jeez, I thought Gino would be a little more motivated to beat the Giants. He wasn't. Um, Max Crosby out. They just decided, look, let's be better at being bad. Let's do that South Park episode where the baseball, we just don't want to play baseball. We'll be better at being bad. So I guess that's what the Raiders did. Yeah.
Yeah.
New England's got to be thinking we could have the number one seed if we had beaten the Raiders in week 1.
Yeah. That's going to keep Mike Vrabel up at night.
Yeah.
Eagles, Bills. This one really didn't mean anything to Philly. They were already guaranteed a top 3 seed, I believe. And they can't get the 1 seed, so it's kind of like whatever to them. But Buffalo, this one clinched the AFC East for the Pats. Buffalo, Josh Allen missing that 2-point conversion, not good. I can't understand going for 2 there. I know a lot of people were pretty upset, but it was gross in Buffalo. Your kicker had already missed. You roll the dice. You put it in the hands of the MVP, and it's not like they're not making the playoffs. You had an outside chance of winning the division anyways. You roll the dice there. I actually don't hate that in my eyes.
I do. I do. I think you still play for seeding. You still play for hopes that you can grab the division somehow. And you miss the extra point. So now you're really, it was like inevitable. It's like karma. You miss the extra points, and now you're going to miss the 2-point conversion. By the way, Buffalo is now 1 for 7 on 2-point conversions. So people, and then the rate this year is about 44-45%. So people think, oh, it's a 50-50 proposition. No, it's not. It's less. And for Buffalo, it's now a 14% proposition. So I don't like that. I think Philly, incredible that they won this game with 11 first downs, 190 yards. Barkley, 1,100 yards this year. I mean, everything's underwhelming for the Eagles, and yet people are still like, well, you don't want to play the Eagles. You don't want to play the Eagles. Maybe you do. Maybe you
It's
do.
just the defense. The
It's all
defense keeps them
defense.
in
It's
the game.
all defense. And Buffalo just showed that they just don't match up with a good team. I mean, I don't think this is a Super Bowl team.
No, not at all. And then possibly the game of the year. We've had a lot of game of the years in the past few weeks. 49ers Bears. 49ers offense is unstoppable. But the Bears are right there with them. The Bears have shown the ability to keep up with teams. They can hang in with anyone. It doesn't matter who's on the field. This team can hang in there. And who would have thought that the Chicago Bears would be in an offensive shootout? That's just a crazy thought to
Yeah.
have.
Yeah. That was just a great finish, a great game. He threw a pick 6 on his first play, and then he was flawless after that. Williams was close to flawless. I mean, I loved this game. I think the Bears, despite the loss, because, they've won so many of these close games. Luther Burden put up a big game like, oh, man, the Bears, do they really have that receiver? They got a few guys that at times have stepped up this year. I mean, they don't have that maybe dominant number 1. But I think we got to talk Kyle Shanahan, maybe coach of the year. You look at everything that's gone on with the Niners. Look at the division they've been in. Now, this was the first game in this kind of hot streak that they've had that really was over a good team by and large, right? Early in the year, they beat Seattle and the Rams, and we were kind of like, okay, and then they got hot, but they've beaten teams like, Indianapolis and Arizona, and this was kind of like, okay, now we know the Niners can hang. I'm not sold on the defense, but I don't know, man, with Shanahan, it's offensive genius. This was just a fun game, and I think the Bears proved that they can hang with anybody. And same with the 49ers. Yeah. Just I
The
don't
only
know.
way Kyle Shanahan doesn't win Coach of the Year is if he loses on Saturday. That's the big one.
You think
Because
so?
if you don't get the number 1 seed, they're going to point and say, well, it was just a wild card berth versus
Right.
Chicago going worst to first. You got to win Saturday. He has to. And then the Monday night game, Falcons, Rams. Falcons I mean, it's Kirk Cousins. What do you expect? No, but the Rams, I mean, they go down 21-0, and you just knew that they weren't dying out that quickly. You knew the Falcons were going to blow the lead. And I think that was like the biggest lead the Falcons have blown since 28-3.
Yeah, that was what they said. And then Joe Buck was like, sorry to bring it up, but everyone was thinking it anyways. Yeah.
Much there from
Well,
me
this
at
was one
least.
where I thought the Rams looked deflated. I don't know if was Nakua not in the game in the first half. Was there some disciplinary? I don't know what was going on, but it felt like he didn't touch the football in like the first half, and then all of a sudden, all the plays are designed to go to him. Incredible catch. Too bad that didn't count. I think that should have counted. I think they should look at the ruling on that, like because he like lost possession, but he didn't really lose possession. It was still all right within his general vicinity. But yeah, I don't know what to make of this. I don't think you get too concerned with the Rams because again, they didn't have a ton to play for. Adams is still out. Atlanta is playing a lot better. Go figure, right? It almost makes the coaches look worse when it's like, oh, now the teams are doing well when there's nothing on the line. Yeah, I still think the Rams could be. You can make an argument anyway that they're the best team in football. I don't think this was on Stafford, although he did throw a pick six. I think there were some oddities in this game. I mean, giving up a 93-yard run for a touchdown, that's not something you'd expect to see from the Rams. But props
No.
to Bijan Robinson. He's a fun player to watch. I'm glad he got a national spotlight. He did also a few weeks ago against Tampa in that game. And I'd like to think the Falcons could say they're a team to be reckoned with next year, but we have no idea about quarterback situation. Penix, is he the guy? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, for the Rams now, they can just worry about wild card.
Breaking news: the Packers are claiming Trayvon Diggs off of waivers from the Cowboys.
Oh,
So yesterday, Stephon Diggs charged, Trayvon Diggs released from the Cowboys. Not a good day to be a Diggs brother, but Diggs
right.
brothers are back.
Yeah.
One of them is. All right, let's go. We'll make our game picks and then get out of here. Panthers, Bucks, Tampa Bay, 2.5-point favorites at home on Saturday at 4:30.
Gonna go Tampa Bay. I don't know why. Just they figure out a way to bounce back. Counterintuitive.
I'm going Carolina here.
I want
I
to go
love
Carolina.
this
That's why I
Carolina
want
team.
Tampa. Yeah.
This is just such a sad Bucks team. I feel like they are not going to be able to get up for this one. I know Baker against Carolina, that's a big thing, but he can only do so much. I have all the respect in the world for Baker, but it's just this Bucks team does not have it.
Yeah.
Seahawks 49ers, Seattle 1.5-point road favorites, 8 o'clock Saturday night. Niners.
Meltdown incoming.
I like Darnold here. He was in this same spot last year? They were in a winner take all game last year, right?
Against Detroit, week 18, yeah. 31-9 loss.
Yeah. I think he finds a way. I think he finds a way to do it. I think obviously he's got all those like old feelings. I think he's growing as a player and a quarterback, and I think he's gonna do it, man. I really do. I'm believing in him.
Think so?
Yeah. He's not seeing ghosts anymore. The ghosts aren't there.
Right.
All right. To Sunday, Colts, Texans. Texans need a win here to keep their hopes for the AFC South alive. Houston 10.5-point home favorites.
I know you're going to take Houston, so I think they'll win, but just because of that, I'm going to.
I would be okay with Colts plus 10.5 here.
I'm going to take the Colts plus 10.5. I'm really just going
division
against all
game.
my instincts here.
Even with Riley Leonard, the Colts have still shown. I mean, they showed some fight last week with Rivers. Rivers is going to be on the sideline in this game. I'm going to take the Colts plus 10.5, but Houston to win. Cowboys Giants, absolutely nothing burger of a game. Dallas 3.5.
Dallas gets their 8-1.
Yeah, I agree. Browns Bengals, Joe Flacco game. Since he's 7.5-point favorites.
Bengals. That Browns got their win last week. They let down Bengals.
I'm gonna take the Browns here. I don't know why. I feel like they've been kind of finding some ways to be competitive, and they might just find a way to win this one. 2 straight wins to end the year. That'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Give them some false sense of confidence going into next year.
Sure.
Wouldn't that just be so Browns? Give your fans a little bit of confidence, just a
Yeah.
little bit.
But good teams always seem to have letdowns after they have a big win. Well, we'll see. I don't know.
Good teams.
Or, I'm sorry, bad teams.
Oh, bad teams.
I meant to say bad teams always have letdowns after big wins. That's why they don't win a lot.
Yeah, but they're both bad.
They both, yeah. All right.
Unstoppable force,
Sure.
immovable object
Yeah.
type of situation. Saints, Falcons, Atlanta -3.
Yeah, two teams playing great. I want to. I'm going to take Atlanta. They,
Tyler Shuck, man.
yeah.
Tyler Shuck.
So,
No
yeah.
one's stopping Tyler Shuck.
Well, Falcons stopped him the first time they played him. I think,
It's
if I'm
not
not
happening
mistaken, was
again.
that the last loss the Saints had? One of the last losses they had. So Atlanta's got a chance to get the sweep. I'm going to take Atlanta. I love the way the Saints are playing, but I think their streak ends. I think they still end with a loss. 6-11 feels right for them.
Yeah.
Falcons, what would be 8-9? Interesting, because the Falcons win would put Carolina right. If Tampa wins, Carolina could still win the division. If Atlanta, because it was Atlanta had to win out. That's what it was at 8. Because if they all finish 8-9, I think Carolina gets the tiebreak. So the
Let's
Panthers will have
see.
a vested interest in that game if they lose their game.
Panthers clinching scenarios for Week 18. If the Falcons defeat the Saints and the Panthers lose to the Bucks, there'd be a 3-way tie atop the division. This scenario would favor the Panthers, who would hold the round robin head-to-head tiebreaker
There you go.
over the Bucks and Falcons.
So the Falcons are. I mean, they're not playing for anything themselves, but that game means something.
Yeah.
Unless Carolina wins, obviously. That won't
Yeah.
play.
Another meaningless game. Packers are locked into the 7th seed at 9-6-1. Minnesota 7.5-point home favorites.
Vikings.
Yeah, Vikings. I guess I don't know. Titans Jags also at 1:00. Jacksonville 12.5-point home favorites win and they clinch the division.
I'll take them. I'll even lay the points.
Cam Ward, man, I'm gonna take Tennessee plus 12.5. Plus 12.5. They're not. I can't see them winning by like 30 something points. Cardinals Rams 7.5-point favorites at home. Are they resting the starters here? I believe so, because I think they're locked in.
Yeah, I still think they need to play well. I'll still take them. I just think Arizona's pitiful. So pitiful. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I would take the points. I still think the Rams will win, but I don't know. Let's flip a coin on the spread on that one. So I'm not really sure what the Rams are going to do.
Chargers Broncos Denver 12.5-point favorites, a win, and they clinch the number 1 seed.
I'll take the points with the Chargers because everything's on the Broncos right here.
Yeah,
I
there's
think
a
the
lot of
Broncos
pressure
win.
here, even with the backup. I think it's
Yeah.
Trey Lance time in
Again,
LA.
division games, right? You just never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
Chiefs Raiders, Kansas City 5.5-point favorites in Vegas to end the year. The party that the Chiefs are gonna have. I wish I was an NFL player on the last week of the season where your season is already, it's over, and you just get to end the year in Vegas. What a party they're gonna throw.
Yeah. Yeah. Travis Kelce send
Last
off
game of his career.
ends in the place where he wins his final Super Bowl. Chiefs. Take the Chiefs. For
Yeah,
anyone looking
Chiefs.
over the Raiders the first time, and Raiders had like under 100 yards or something.
Yeah. Dolphins Pats 425 in New England. We've seen this. Well, they're not in Miami, so it's not the same. New England 10.5-point favorites at home.
I actually like Miami with the points there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just Dolphins Patriots.
All those distractions maybe going on with the Pats. Maybe this is a closer game. Plus, with Denver likely winning, then maybe that game becomes more meaningless. They see it's 21-0 Broncos, and then they let's get Drake May out of there. So I would take the points with Miami.
Yeah. Commanders Eagles, another somewhat meaningless game. Eagles 4.5-point home favorites.
Well, I guess who knows? The way their offense is going, they might be better off with Tanner McKee in there. Yeah, I'm taking the Eagles, actually. I think they want to finish strong.
Lions Bears 425. Chicago -3. I mean, I think
Give
Chicago
me the
you
Bears
want.
all day. They need it. They want it. They want that 2 seed. And I'm surprised it's that low. I just think Detroit's like mailed it in. I think this is a revenge. 52-21 back in week 2. I'm going with the Bears this time around. Ben Johnson's got to beat the Lions.
Yeah.
You know he wants to.
Jets, Bills, Buffalo 7-point home favorites. Are they locked in? Let's see.
They're not locked in, but they think they still want to win. Last game at Highmark Stadium, barring some crazy set of events in the AFC playoffs, it's the Jets. Party in Buffalo. Bills win it.
I guess, did Jacksonville play Buffalo this year?
No. Buffalo played at Houston and lost. Close game, but not Jacksonville.
So they can jump to the 5. They would be able to jump to the 5 if, yeah, you would need the Chargers and Houston to both lose, and Buffalo would have to win.
Yeah,
And they could draw Pittsburgh.
right. That'll be
I
interesting.
don't think they would hold the tiebreaker over Jacksonville.
There's a whole thing on NFL that the Twitter had. You can look and see what all the scenarios are. Too much to go through here, but
Yeah, just win. I think that's what Buffalo wants. They just want to win this game. And then the final game of the 2025 NFL regular season, Ravens Steelers in Pittsburgh for the North, 820, Baltimore, 3.5-point favorites here. That's a Tomlin game. This is a Mike Tomlin. This could be a Mike Tomlin game. Division game, your home underdogs on Sunday Night Football. This is a little bit of a Mike Tomlin game.
yeah, I know. It would be so like the Ravens to come all the way back to this point just to lose. Is it 3.5? I'll take the points. I'm still gonna pick the Ravens, but they gotta get their revenge. It's gonna be a good
Mike
game.
Tomlin game. I
Every
hate
game
to
is
say
Mike
it.
Tomlin.
Vegas is setting you guys up for failure right now. Fucking Vegas they want the Steelers in. That's why they did this. Because they know they're going to fool people with the Steelers in the first round. They're going to make a lot of money on Steelers bets in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know it. You know it. Oh, man. I would honestly, logically, I would take the Ravens, but something about that line just makes me want to take the Steelers just because of Mike Tomlin. I'll roll with you. I'll take the Ravens, but I'm very wary of this game. I wouldn't touch this game with a 10-foot pole if as a betting man, I'm not touching it with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah. Yeah, I get where you're coming from there. I would probably, well, it'd be kind of like just I would probably take the points. The Ravens win. It's got to be close. It's Ravens Steelers,
Yeah, no matter what, no matter how good or bad the teams are, they're always within like 3 points. That's just how it is. It's the North. But there was a time in week 17 where it maybe felt like we weren't going to have any good games this weekend.
I know. I hate the don't get me started. I'll be here all day on the week
Yeah.
18 being all divisional because a lot of times you waste good divisional matchups. Like Ravens Steelers 2 years ago, it was Huntley. With the Steelers needing to win to get a playoff berth, Huntley played and the Steelers won. So yeah, they sell out this whole slate just to get a few of these winning in games, and you still end up where one of them is Carolina Tampa, garbage, and the other Seattle San Fran. Yeah, it's a 1 seed, but they're both in the playoffs. Still a little anticlimactic. Mix it up, man. Maybe have them all play. Maybe take all the tie-breaking scenarios out of it. Maybe have that stupid 17th game be all those inter conference games. I don't know. Just mix it up. I hate it, but NFL gets lucky. They always do. So they'll get a few good games.
All righty. Well, that's where we're going to wrap up. It's going to be an awesome weekend of football. Actually, the next couple days we have college football playoff going. Is there a game going right now as we record
Don't
on
know.
New
The
Year's
NBA
Eve?
on in the background. But
Oh, you
yeah.
have NBA.
Well,
Michigan, Texas is on right now. The Cheez-It Citrus Bowl.
Oh,
How does that make sense? Cheez-It Citrus Bowl? How does that make
the
any
Citrus
sense?
Bowl is the bowl, and yeah.
But Cheez-Its aren't citrusy.
No, but the Citrus Bowl is the same bowl every year, and this year.
Oh no, I know that. They need to have like a Tropicana. It needs to be like the Tropicana citrus.
You better have anything
or
else,
something like
right?
that. We did have I don't know if you saw a little bit of the Pop-Tart Bowl. Just the craziest, weirdest bowl that I love. And I'm also so glad Notre Dame didn't get in to that bowl because like you have to be a program that is gonna play along with the Pop-Tart bit
Yeah.
with that bowl. Like you have the trophy that has an actual toaster in it that you can put Pop Tarts in and toast Pop Tarts. You have the Pop Tart mascot who I saw a video of him feeding a Pop Tart to like a reporter. Like the mascot, it was a little cannibalism type of thing going on,
Right,
really
right,
freaky.
right.
Um, yeah, you need an organization, and Notre Dame would have just been the most buttoned up, like we're here to win this game. We're not here to do any of this bullshit with the Pop Tart Bowl. So I'm glad we didn't get that. But I'm trying to find the schedule here. We should have games today. College football playoff. Yeah, tonight, Miami, Ohio State, or yesterday when this releases, Miami, Ohio State. Who do you think won? Let's do our review of this game now. Wow, Ohio State is really good.
Yeah.
That loss in the Big Ten championship game that really energized them to just destroy Miami, and Miami shouldn't have even been in the playoff.
Yeah. I'm piggybacking that.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, and then tomorrow, Oregon, Texas Tech, Alabama, Indiana, and Ole Miss, Georgia. Um, all right. That's where we're going to wrap up. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Go check out Draft America. Go check out Spring Hill Sports Cards. And we will see you in the new year. Well, not in the new year because this is what I don't know what I'm talking about. We'll see you next week.